Welcome to another episode of The Very Online Show, a giant bomb production that features two extremely online people that are so online that someone could easily clone them using only the information about them floating around on the internet.
That is so
Why
sad.
would you fucking put that out there, man? Like, now that's going to be in
so
my head the whole time.
pathetic?
Think about it.
Hold
Why
up.
are we so... yeah?
Pathetic?
I mean, he's
Says
not
the man.
painting...
It says the man whose Zune review is in the Internet Archive.
Who?
You?
Yours.
I didn't review a Zune.
You were talking about a Zune.
Yeah, I spent at
There's
least 2 days submitting a lot of Jeff Bacala work to Internet
First of
Archive.
all,
I was gonna say,
that's,
are you gaslighting us? We watched it together.
no, it wasn't a Zune. It was something else. It was something as pitiful, but
I thought it was a Zune.
I mean, who can remember?
Why are we so online despite this terrifying possibility, you may be asking? Well, it's because we are mentally ill.
Okay.
But
I'm not
also,
going to deny that. Like, I've been diagnosed.
we are passing it off as a way to educate our less online friend, Jeff Bacala, who you may know from seeing its Zune review, on what the hell is going on the internet.
Yeah, the more normal. Just more normal. It's the very normal show. It's featuring a normal person.
Depending on your perspective, this show is either Jeff voluntarily rotting his brain for your entertainment so he can be a little more in the know, or it's Lucy and I doing our best to take all that nonsense rattling around in our brains and using it to educate Jeff, and by extension, you.
You say nonsense, Tam, but I feel like at some point at a pub quiz, we're really going to shine.
Oh, yeah. One day.
It'll be worth it. Yep.
Yeah.
Inshallah. Jeff.
Hey.
Uh-huh.
What's up?
You've been on the internet for a while, to various degrees. You were there, correct me if I'm wrong, to witness the advent of apps, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah? Do you remember hot apps such as Air Horn, Virtual Lighter, and iBeer?
I remember iBeer for sure.
Remember iBeer, where you could
iBeer.
pretend you were drinking a beer?
A
Can
true
you still
innovation.
get iBeer?
You can. I did search iBeer, and it's now got in-app purchases.
Stop it.
It's
What?
got
To get
a
like
bunch
different kind of drinks?
Different kind of drinks, yes.
Yeah. They were all like these like real dumb do nothing apps.
Yeah, frivolous apps, exactly.
Sure.
Do you remember, did you have any favorites from back then?
Um
I was a big proponent of the air horn. Obviously.
The lighter one I remember a lot too. It was like a Zippo, right? You would just
Yeah.
have like a virtual Zippo kind of thing.
Yeah. See, I got air horn, but I got the one that had multiple sounds, so I would primarily use the boy.
Oh, right. The epitome of cool.
Yeah, of course.
Achieved.
Yeah.
Cool.
I was boing people like left, right, and center. People were like just sitting down and boing. People were standing up. Boing.
Wow.
People were like, my
Lucy,
dad died.
well done.
Boing.
Wait.
Whoa. Whoa, that was fast.
Wow,
Yeah, that
those-
was fast. What the
You
hell?
might have a problem.
Yeah,
Jeez.
you.
You need
This.
to.
Oh. Whoa.
AA.
Very
There we
good.
go. There
It's
we
not
go.
even. I wish it would do a better job of.
Yeah. There's no
You know,
glugging sounds.
It's not glugging, and it's
Do
also
it-
not
Lucy,
traveling
do it
the
once
right way.
more. Do it once more.
I'll turn silence off.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, wait, hang on. I
Can you-
can change my drink.
I was gonna say different liquids. Make it wine.
Oh,
like someone
okay.
chugging wine is
Wait,
absurd. Yeah.
but you can have a Guinness, but it's called Goodness.
I know what we'll do.
Remove ads and we'll give you tons more. Oh, no, you have to pay for
oh
this.
yeah. Wow. I'll pay for that. Sure.
Absolutely
that
not.
seems.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay. Lucy, get ready. Do it, and I'll do mine.
Okay,
Okay, ready?
ready.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, yeah,
Wow.
I forgot about the burp.
There we go. We've
The
hit
pinnacle.
Yeah,
Wow,
we
this is some peak 2007 humor here.
You're welcome, internet.
These days, there are much less of these frivolous gimmick apps. Generally, the fun stuff happens within apps like, Snapchat and Instagram, and they use filters. However, there are still a few apps that come along and become super popular because they do something cool or fun. And, a lot of those lately have been face tuning and face swapping. Jeff, you ever done a face swap or a face tune, either on your own or have someone else do it to you?
Yeah, got a
Yeah?
7-year-old, very fascinated by those things. I've become an octopus or a tiger or an elephant. Not a problem.
Yeah.
It's not a-
Well, I have good news and bad news for you, Jeff.
Okay, so what?
The good news is you probably had a bit of fun.
Yeah, but
The
the
bad
bad
news
news
is you may now be the star of your very own porn video.
Thank goodness.
I'm sorry to tell you that. In fact...
Oh, wait. So, okay. Oh, boy. Okay. In fact, if you turn your attention to your third monitor,
you may have... Yeah, no, I'm joking. In fact, there are a variety of seemingly fun, harmless apps and other services that are floating around that could have major implications on you and your privacy. Jeff, specifically, and you people out there as well. So, on this week's episode of The Very Online Show, we're going to watch a bunch of pornography with Jeff's face. No, I'm kidding.
I feel like
I was
there's a real
actually
HR violation.
I was getting excited for a second.
We're going to do a little crash course on why you should be a bit more vigilant with what apps and services you're sharing your information with.
Oh, look, here's the thing. I'm with you on that. I think most people are oblivious to why, but I think the real caveat here is just how seemingly impossible that is.
Yeah.
Right.
He just wants a little bit of fun, Tam. We don't have
Like-
to be the
no, I
fun
will not.
And
police.
I mean that by saying I'm unsure a single person who is like totally squeaky clean.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's true. It's true. There's very few people, but I think the issue that we're having is people are just not even thinking about it anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Like we've reached a point where, it's just no one cares. And I think it's time for a reality check. So this is an episode I like to call Apocalypse Now.
There's positivity oozing out of the seams of the Very Online Show, ladies and gentlemen.
Appetite for destruction.
I like that.
I'm pretty sure Apocalypse Now is something that we've already done.
I want to say
Well, we did
that
the
is.
beach book. Actually, I think it is.
I think that's verbatim.
Okay, appetite
Yeah.
for destruction. There you go.
Okay. So first things first, Jeff, the whole you being the star of your own porn, I was being a little shock jockey-ish about that.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Aw.
As there are a variety of face tuning apps, and of course, they're not all turning you into porn. But one of them is definitely offering it as an option, Jeff. And it's a very popular one.
Okay, what would that be then?
This one is called Face Magic. It's an app that makes you do things like this if you look at your screen.
I'm not downloading it. I'm just looking. I want to
No.
Is this like make an O face?
No, it'll let you like turn celebrities into other celebrities.
Oh,
which is
that's
cool.
Jam.
Whoa, the
that's
Jam-
Jim and Pam.
Yep,
The Jim Pam thing
Pam.
is very upsetting.
We got Kylie Buscemi.
That's pretty good.
We got Emma Watson as Marilyn Monroe. Oh, is this allowed?
What was
Is that
that?
Nicki Minaj
That's
and
Jungkook Minaj.
Got it.
This is
Zayn?
Zayn Malik and
Nick Jonas.
Nick Jonas. Okay.
Okay.
This
Oh,
is Michael
no.
Jackson and Amy. Oh no, it's their faces are swapped.
This is
I didn't know if they ever
Truly.
met each other.
They didn't probably. This is actually pretty cool.
Super Spider-Man. it's
Yeah,
not bad.
Super Spider-Man. So there you have it. You can, make
Wait,
celebrity.
Can we go down to Captain Loki?
well-
yeah.
Yeah.
Captain Loki.
Oh,
that looks
that's underwhelming.
awful.
Yeah,
Underwhelming.
I don't like that.
Oh, I hate that
No,
so
f-
much.
that
I
sucks.
regret. I regret
Reject
going
that
back to that. I'm
one.
so sorry.
Fuck.
You can make movie posters. Like, look at this very small face here.
Mm.
Oh,
Who's that?
interesting. Sarah
It's-
Jessica Parker.
No,
Yeah,
in
Hocus
the middle.
Pocus.
No, but in the middle instead
don't
of Bette
know.
Midler.
Is this some random?
It could be you.
Nicolas
Pretty
Cage
good.
as Yoda.
That's actually really pretty well done because Yoda can't really face swap with Yoda as easily.
No,
as
it's very difficult. Yeah, so you can like swap faces on movie posters and other things like that. Here's what the description says for face magic on the Google Play Store. Lucy, can you read this?
Are you bored of clicking and posting the same old selfies on Instagram? Have you outgrown the iconic pout and are looking for something to shake up this process? Face Magic is here to blow you away. Face Magic is an AI-based face swap app powered by AI technology that lets you swap your face on GIFs, videos, photos, and whatnot. Don't know why they said
Holy
whatnot.
shit.
Whatnot?
The visible growth in AI has produced advancements in games, video games, movies, travel, etc. This app is a unique spin on your regular selfies and pictures as it lets you take a step forward to get creative with your clicks. Make a meme, make your friends
Who is
dance,
this?
or replace yourself in iconic TV shows and movies. With
Holy shit. I'm sorry, keep going.
With Face Magic, you can create funny movies or images to share with your friends, create memes about it, or simply make fun of yourself. End your fantastic face-swapped clip, face morph material, and humorous meme with everyone. Are they supposed to say share your
That was supposed to say send. But,
send. With everyone on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, or even Twitter after you've made them. Face Magic offers an up-to-date source of videos, GIFs, and photos that you can use to make trendy content.
I can't. Your American voice is like the best.
It's very good.
Like, how are you? Like, I can't understand how someone with a British accent does, and I don't like. It's easy for me to understand how that the one way works. Wow, that is so cool.
It's because this isn't my real accent, so
Mhm.
I'm constantly lying to you.
Oh, wow, what an artist. What a performer.
No way!
No way,
dude!
No way, dude.
However, so we had a big breakdown of that, and it's basically like, hey, this is a cool, fun thing you can do. Isn't it cool?
Yeah.
You can share it with your friend. It's awesome.
It's trendy content time.
We're not going to use your face for porn.
In an excellent piece that is published on Vice, written by Samantha Cole and Emmanuel Mayberg, called "A Popular Face Swap App is Advertising Deepfakes on Porn Sites." They looked into Face Magic and found that adverts for the application on porn sites have a different pitch. That pitch is make AI face porn in a second. Face Magic also has an AI and deepfake component. So basically what you can do is take the face of an adult video performer and swap in another person's face.
Cool.
I hate that.
For people who aren't aware, deepfakes use artificial intelligence and machine learning to map basically the faces of one person onto another person for various purposes. And as a technology, it has and continues to become very rapidly more advanced. So let's take a recent look at an example that doesn't involve anything raunchy, obviously. This is from the recently released video for Kendrick Lamar's The Heart Part 5. How's that for topical? Have you seen this video?
No.
Okay, so watch this. This is pretty cool. Did you see that?
I see it. OJ.
Oh.
No, it's Kanye.
Yep, and if you skip through it, Jesse Smollett.
So,
Will Smith.
who made this video?
I'm not sure. It's directed by Dave Free and Kendrick Lamar. But that's one example of it. Here's another one that shows off how good it has become.
Oh,
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being?
Man, he almost looks like a render.
He looks
That
like he was
is a
made in
render.
Unreal Engine 5.
Oh, okay.
It's a deep fake.
Is
Yeah.
the
Well, is it a
ability to
deepfake when
capture
it's just a
process,
render?
make sense of the
I mean, it's all
information
renders, right?
senses receive?
Basically, yeah.
If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would
All of these, by the way, all of these like philosophical, like deepfake things say the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Like, what defines human perception? You know, like,
Isn't
Is
that like
this-
it's like the fucking thing from Westworld where it's like if you can't
Yeah.
tell the difference, doesn't
it's
matter.
the Matrix. It's
Yeah.
like everything. It's that trope over and over again. I get it.
This bit is where it starts to get a bit creepy. So naturally, that is pretty impressive, and to a degree, both of those use advanced technology and expertise to make them look that good.
Yeah.
But the apps that offer similar functionality, albeit at a degraded quality, are still very good and quickly becoming better. And as they become more available, the danger of having your face used in nefarious ways becomes quite real. So as pointed out by this Vice piece, Face Magic basically uses a loophole in Apple and Google's policies by presenting itself as a fun thing for people to do on those platforms, while then advertising its ability to make deepfake porn very quickly on adult sites. But fundamentally, it's using the same application. Same application, two different styles of advertising. That's the only differentiator between it. So you can actually pay Face Magic $10 monthly fee and get access to that functionality, which all you have to do is upload a video, a porn video, and then the image of another person, and bingo, you got it. That's it. That's all that has to be done. Speaking to Vice, Adam Dodge, the founder of NTAB, an online harassment victim service, said the following.
These ads are chipping away at the remaining barriers we rely on to keep non-consensual deepfake porn from becoming mainstream. Targeted marketing like this simultaneously removes the need for users to spend time searching for an app or develop the expertise to create a deepfake.
Yeah, so the thing about these apps is that, as previously mentioned, they are becoming better alarmingly fast. Before, you needed to feed these kind of services a bunch of images with very specific requirements to get something that looked kind of okay. It's like trying to upload a picture to the government passport website, where it's like, oh, that's not the right shade of white in the background, or you're not looking straight ahead. So it would be a pain in the bollocks to get like a half decent one image through that it would like. But developments in deepfake technology now mean that all it really takes is a single image.
How the fuck is that possible?
The resulting image that you get out of it is usually clean and very, very, very believable.
Well, we just got to try this. I mean, there's no other way.
So the tech that kind of took a big leap forward was largely thanks to Samsung's AI center in Moscow. So Samsung is doing this, is what the answer to that question. So it trained an algorithm on a whole bunch of images of celebrities from YouTube videos. So for me, the big concern is not that people could become the potential victims of nefarious deepfakes, but like using these apps are just helping the algorithms and AIs get better at making them, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
So like it's not like, oh, Jeff, because you've taken a picture on a Facetune app that I'm worried that now you're going to appear on Pornhub. It's the fact that taking that picture, we're helping train the algorithm to just get better at it, and one day it will be like unstoppable. It will be impossible to tell.
Sure.
So Vice and Motherboard reached out to Apple, and they were told that Apple doesn't have any specific rules about deepfake apps, but it does have rules around defamatory, discriminatory, or mean-spirited content.
But it's like whatever, right? Like it's the same fucking thing over and over again.
Yeah.
It's a cat and mouse sort of situation.
Yeah, it's where the technology is like far ahead of anything terms of service is capable.
We've learned nothing is what that's the takeaway.
Yeah. And Apple like particularly says like if the app is like to humiliate, intimidate, or harm a targeted individual or group, like they're against that. Google's Play Store also says it doesn't allow for sexual content to be distributed, but in both instances there are a bunch of these kind of apps, including Face Magic, available. And as we've seen, it's the same app being presented to people that want to make non-consensual porn. It's not like a different application. the one that you are downloading from the Google Play Store is the one that the person who is trying to make weird porn of you is downloading that same one.
I know how to fight this.
Go on.
Just 8 Mile it and put yourself in every single porn video you can before anyone else does.
No, you watch every porn ever made, and then you'll know that the porn you're looking at is
It's
just
not correct. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I feel like that is probably like the dead giveaway that I feel like most people will be able to flag.
Yeah, just Jeff. Someone presents Jeff with a porn of himself, and he's been like, "No, I've seen the original."
I know that one. You
I've seen
can't
that
fool me,
Wow.
face magic.
That is not my dick. I 100% can tell you that for sure.
Here you go.
So the lesson there is maybe rethink using these weird Facetune apps. We're going to pivot.
Well,
We're gonna-
I'm not the biggest culprit there. I mean, but yes, we all should.
The thing about it is we've all done it, but
Yeah.
we've also got that friend who's super into it and will just shove a
it just
camera in
won't
your face
stop.
and be like, boom, look at you, you're a raccoon now. And it's like, no.
I
please,
mean,
stop.
So this will probably venture into a conversation that's pretty ugly. And it's one, I mean, I think for myself and for most people, my friends that are my age, like we are too far gone. The cat is out of the bag. There's no stuffing it back in, even though I'd love to put that cat back in the bag.
Okay, I don't like the fact that you're
What's his-
anti-cat.
That has no, the cat is
Arguments about-
metaphorical, my friends. The cat is
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's not,
It's not an
I
actual
want-
cat? All
It's not an
right.
actual cat. And if it was, it wouldn't be that terrible. But what my
Hey.
point being, so no, what I'm saying is like, we're done, right? It's not going to happen for us. But for our children,
Yeah, we're cooked.
I actually butted heads with like a couple friends over this early on in my child's life, even though when that probably matters less because no one looks identical to how they did as a child, where, like that's the interesting thing too. Like you take a picture of your child at 2, that face is pretty much going to disappear, right? Although Google Photos actually does a really impressive job of being like, is this the same person? And there's
Yeah.
like 6 years in between early development life. But my point being like, I've had to ask people like, hey, like don't post, you don't have to post that. I know like, it's cool. We took a picture of my kid and your kid, but like, we don't need to put that on the internet. Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some people are like, oh, totally. Some people are like, what's the big deal? And I will direct them to this episode now that I have even more concrete evidence
Yeah.
for believing so.
So going from there, we're going to pivot to something else that I see a lot of in the internet that worries me a bit. And the thread we're going to follow is this idea that an application or service exists and is presented to us as cool or fun or interesting, like face magic. This is a fun thing that you can do. And as an eternal cynic that's nervous pretty much about everything,
Yeah.
this is like the biggest of those is a red flag. As a red flag for me is ancestry services.
Oh boy.
For years now, we've had like a variety of different services pop up, like Ancestry or 23andMe, and they're like, give us your body juices and we'll tell you about your ethnic makeup in detail. And like I've always said, that always sets off alarms for me. But I keep seeing loads of people like using it and posting about it, or I keep hearing about them on like in adverts for podcasts, and it's always super jovial, like, hey, you can do this cool thing and then learn about yourself or your family. So I decided to see if there was anything else going on there. And Jeff, do you think there's something else going on?
Yes.
Oh, well,
I
there is,
think
Jeff.
I want to say I've also, this is backed by like things that I've read or heard reported. Again, I'm happy to be wrong and corrected on the matter, but I do believe that like some of this stuff is perhaps shared with entities that they are not very upfront about. Like
Yeah.
to me, it seems like a bit of a self-report, right? Where you're just kind of
Massive.
like handing
Yeah.
in your own DNA.
Yeah, so there is something going on, and to discuss it, we're going to refer to a few articles, including one written by Kristen V. Brown for Bloomberg, and the article is called "All Those 23andMe Spit Tests Were Part of a Bigger Plan."
That is truly a horrifyingly written headline.
Yeah.
So this article lays out a plan from CEO Anne Wojcicki to transform genetics into a mainstream health and entertainment product. Her plan, laid out in a big long passage about it, is first her plan was to sell tastemakers on the mail-in spit test kits as a way to learn sort of interesting things about their DNA makeup, which they did, such as like your ancestral origins and the chances that it would lead to certain health conditions, etc., etc. Then eventually you should be able to lower prices enough to make the kits broadly accessible. And again, that's exactly what happened. Millions and millions of people started using the service, and they became so mainstream that even Oprah was being like, hey, this is a cool
not to mention, I don't know if you're going to get to this part of it, but like these are only as accurate as like the other testing we have.
Yes, it's all survey based as well. So Oprah was like, this is one of my favorite things. You
the
should get
ultimate
this
selfie
for your friend. Yeah.
Oh
So
my
Anne-
God, that's what she said?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't her
whoever
specifically,
wrote it
but
for
whoever wrote it
Oprah.com.
and put it, yeah.
But no, but Oprah saw that and was like, this is coming out of my mouth again.
I like to imagine that Oprah is signing off on everything that goes up on Oprah.com.
Or at least that, sure, yeah. I guess
Oprah is
you're right.
definitely
I guess you're
managing
right.
editor of Oprah.com.
She's just like, I could just see her late at night, like the glasses half down her
Yeah.
nose, being like, and this headline will go up.
Yeah.
And this, that.
We should be using an Oxford comma here. Like, I would love her to copy edit her.
What
own
are you
website.
saying? She's like busy? Is that the joke? Like she's a busy
That's
person?
So Anne Wojcicki, who happens to be the sister of Google co-founder Susan Wojcicki, which probably explains a lot when it comes to data gathering. It runs in the family, apparently.
Hey.
Then moved to the next phase of the plan, using that data for something.
Remember when
So-
Google's motto used to be "Don't be evil"?
Yeah, no, they were like, no, let's get rid of that. Because ladies and gentlemen, we're in the evil game. So through these DNA tests, 23andMe built a massive database to try and find links between genes and diseases. That sounds great on paper, but of course, there is big money to be made there, which explains why GlaxoSmithKline, a British multinational pharmaceutical company, acquired a $300 million stake in 23andMe. It was a 4-year deal that was originally reported on 2018, so it presumably expires next year. And it allowed GSK to basically comb 23andMe's data to figure out what new drugs it can develop. Since then, of course, 23andMe has gone public, which it did by being backed by a blank check company that billionaire Richard Branson had involvement with. Speaking to The Guardian, Jennifer King, a privacy specialist at the Stanford Institute for Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence, who has studied 23andMe, said the following. Please, Lucy.
The question in all situations like this is where the data is going and why these different companies and investors have a financial interest in your genetic data.
It's a good question. So when the Virgin Acquisition Group announced the deal, it cited
I'm sorry. Not only is the company called Virgin, but the Virgin Acquisition Group, aka VAG.
Yes.
Stop it.
Fucking hell.
But to acquire me some virgins, you know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is.
It's
Anyway.
VAG.
I know,
It's
I
bad.
see it. It's definitely vag.
Can we just get like a clip of Jeff going, I see it, it's definitely VAG.
No,
Yeah.
undeniable.
That
I'm
is the
looking at
social
is
clip.
vag.
It's definitely vag, yeah. When the VAG announced the deal, it cited vast proprietary data set of DNA that would allow the company to unlock revenue streams across digital health, therapeutics, and more as a key motivating factor for getting involved. So in most cases, your DNA is supposed to be presented anonymously, and 23andMe has maintained that it doesn't share information without the separate, explicit consent of the customer. But we all know it's very easy for companies to quietly decide otherwise and tweak their, EULAs and terms and conditions to decide otherwise, or for people to leak it, or as was the case, for the company to be hacked.
God.
Here's a article that was published a little while back. 2019 DNA database containing data from 23andMe and Ancestry was vulnerable to attacks. And also in the past, DNA companies have allowed the FBI to have quick look at stuff. Just have a quick peek, see what's going on with this DNA data. And in fact, the Pentagon has advised its employees to not take these tests, which if the Pentagon is telling its employees not to take the tests, that says a lot about the tests and the safety of using them. So later, this research would fuel the creation of drugs the company could tailor to different genetic profiles. 23andMe will become, their hope would be a new kind of healthcare business, sitting somewhere between big pharma, a big tech company, and a trusted neighborhood doctor, the article says.
I'm sorry, but also like eugenics at this point.
Yeah. Yes. There's a lot of terrifying implications of that stuff. So basically that whole, hey, this is a cool, interesting thing you did, is now powering a new age of big pharma. So maybe you should reconsider giving your juices to random corporations just for a little bit of, hey, I'm actually 1% European banter, because no one fucking cares.
I love that shit. I love the commercials are the best, where like people are like, I just found out I'm 2% this, so therefore I've changed my complete identity. And I am now I'm
3% French. Who fucking cares? Go
like,
ask a single French person if they give a shit.
Like, I will spit in your fucking face. How dare you?
Like the only reason it would matter is that like if you were close enough to be able to get like an Irish passport. And believe me, I fucking asked my parents, I was like, do we have any Irish? No, I've got Dutch, and it doesn't count because they're too far back.
You heard it from Lucy, the Dutch don't count.
The Dutch are too far back.
It was my grandmother, and so apparently like I don't qualify for Dutch a Dutch passport.
Having said that, there are obviously, we aren't specifically focusing on it, but there are, just to raise it, there are counter arguments to be made of the good uses of it. They have like reunited people in the past through like certain, uses of it. And also, people have started to, delve into family trees, and DNA stuff can also be used to be like, hey, there is a good chance you could develop this disease, so be careful. But also like, you can probably figure that stuff out by doing some research that doesn't involve giving your data to big pharma or companies that want to make some cold hard cash or off you.
Like, I'm not being funny. Like, we've done our family tree and we've managed to trace it back to the 1600s without giving any DNA or anything to anyone. So it's like, it's not like it's hard. Well, I mean, we literally paid someone to do it, so it might be hard.
But no, you're right. I mean, it's just, we just jump into these things.
Yeah.
So, willful. It's just, it's upsetting.
Yeah.
I just took a DNA test, and it turns out that I am 100% that bitch.
Well, look, I mean, like, there's also like, the medicinal stuff, I think, is like, before some people get pregnant, they take certain marker tests and screenings, and, there's some stuff worth exploring.
Yeah. If you're wondering, yes, you can request to have your info deleted at the source, but it takes some doing, and it's a pain in the ass. You usually have to call them and ask or submit a request or something like that. Some of these services do allow you to like delete the results on your account settings. So if you log into like ancestry.com or 23andMe and find the right area of the website, you can delete it, but there's no guarantee that it's deleting it at the source. And the other thing is, like, during this whole process, there's usually some sort of box you tick, which is like, hey, don't share my data with anyone. But it's not always like a big box that, you have to click. Moving on from there, another pivot. We're going to speed things up a bit, but try and keep the theme the same. Rethink what apps you are giving your information to and what information you're giving. And often the apps that are using your information might be presenting themselves as like convenience or like fun or useful to your everyday life. In 2021, there was an app called Life 360, which still exists. It's a family safety app, and it was incredibly popular because it basically gave parents the ability to LoJack their kids and keep track of them using their phones,
which is just fun. Just to be clear.
It's a good time just to keep an eye on what your child is up to.
When I was a kid, I didn't have a phone. I would just leave, come back a few hours later.
You think that's just a wristwatch on your wrist?
No,
it is a GPS location device.
Latchkey kid. I was like, I'm out. Lynn, I'm out. We'll see you later.
was-
What time's dinner?
Maybe I'll be there.
I wasn't going anywhere. I was playing video games inside. I was like, no, I'm good.
I was
I'm
wearing
right
my
here.
Slipknot hoodie, hanging out on street corners.
So Life 360 was letting parents track their kids, but was also selling the data on both those kids and the family's locations to data brokers.
Beautiful.
Who data brokers don't really use the information themselves. They are data brokers. So they went on to sell that data to basically anyone that wanted it and had the money to buy it. The markup did a really good kind of investigation into this. And since then, the company said it won't sell the info to brokers, to the brokers that they were working with, and will now only sell precise location data to a company called Arity and aggregated location data to Placer AI. So they're still selling some of that data.
I don't want them to do either of those.
Like, we're not going to do any of that, just a lot of some of it.
Yeah, just some of it. In February 2022, CNBC published an article reporting on a study that was telling us something that we already know, but is worth reiterating. TikTok is sharing your data more than any other social media app, and it's unclear where it goes.
Sorry, is that
Um,
article written by Tom Hiddleston?
No.
God, yeah.
It's Tom Huddleston Jr., thank you.
Shit.
The wildest thing about TikTok is, like, I feel like that is the most widely known thing in terms of like data sharing, right? Like, I think if you asked most people, they would be like, yeah, I've heard stuff about that.
It's weird because like they've pushed through. The thing that they present is so valuable and entertaining to people that they're willing to throw aside. It's the same as Facebook.
100%.
Like there was a period where people use Facebook, and we were like, they are actively contributing to this propaganda
And
around
people were just
Russia.
like, yeah, that's fine.
And they were like, oh, it's fine. I need to see when people's birthdays
It's
are.
like, you're right. They should call that something where you like breach the rational thought capacity, right? Where
it's
you're just like,
yeah, it's like a mutually assured destruction.
yeah,
almost.
like people were confronted with the facts of like, we literally don't know where this data is going, how it's used, but it's the most intrusive data collecting app in the history of apps.
Yeah.
Are you going to continue using this? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. How else would I know my TikTok dances?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the article basically states that YouTube and TikTok track users' personal data more than any other social media app. YouTube and Google, its parent company, keeps the data basically for its own purposes. They're just making their own shit more aggressively geared towards you. TikTok, though, allows third parties to gather data on TikTok.
Yay.
And at which point, it's basically out there in the wild doing who knows what with who knows who. So third parties can come in, grab some data, and then bounce. And TikTok is like, cool, later.
Does TikTok guarantee any sort of anonymity, or is it just like personally associated data?
It's hard to say. I think it has like a level of protection, but like part of.
I was looking
Jesus
to see if it said
fucking
anything.
Did your phone just try and self-destruct because it was found out?
Yeah.
Creators and privacy. Hang on, privacy.
So the thing is, like, the thing you have to keep in mind is, yes, it will offer some privacy options, but also selling your information, gathering your information is a key part of its business model.
Yeah, I can request and download my own data.
Yeah, you can get, that's such a workaround that a lot of these
like
companies
wild.
have, where it's like, what the fuck are you going to do with it?
Yeah, like
oh, you can download your data. It's like, okay, but I don't want anyone else to be able to download my data.
I love
is
that.
the problem.
Oh, cool! I have this huge file now. I'm safe.
Yeah, I'm
Yay.
safe. No, it's not.
Do I put this in in some sort of vault now? Like, how do I?
No. Yeah. So TikTok is allowing third parties access to that data. But on top of that, there are apps that you may not think about that are doing weird shit with your data, which right now is especially important to think about for women. Period tracker apps are very, very, very popular. And as Consumer Reports pointed out, there's apps like Baby Center, Clue, Flow is a popular one, My Calendar, and Ovia. And the like, they don't usually, this article says, they don't usually give users any guarantee their data won't be shared. And it's generally believed that period tracking apps leave a lot to be desired when it comes to privacy and info stored on these apps. Despite being medical in nature, they are not subject to medical privacy law safeguards like in HIPAA.
Yeah.
Flow, for example, said it would keep user info private, and then it went and shared it with Facebook. So it does not give a shit. The FTC basically gave it a slap on the wrist for that.
Well, do you remember? I don't know if you've got this here, but also relevant to news is that Activision Blizzard in 2019. I just quickly googled this to make sure I got it right. In 2019, the company was paying its employees $1 a day in gift cards to use Ovia, the period tracking app, and then monitoring the information. So basically, fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, your employer is making sure that, like, I don't know, if they were going to promote you, and, you know, Activision Blizzard has a history of how it treats women, and, you know, God, I don't even know if they would be promoting women, but it's like, I don't know, actively not promoting women, like checking if they're going to get pregnant or not. Like, if your employer knows you're pregnant before you do, that is the most fucked up thing I could think of.
Yeah. So basically, these period tracking apps could share your information with marketers and advertisers and information brokers. And of course, they could also share it with the government. And then in light of reports that Roe v. Wade could be overturned, thereby criminalizing the safe and often life-saving abortion procedures that women undertake, it's more important now than ever that you're careful about what data you're sharing with apps, especially period trackers. We've seen some insane shit come into light recently with people in Congress and different states, politicians trying to ban everything from actual abortions to contraception, and also putting out bounties on people to snitch on who's their fellow, person on whether they're getting abortions for a sum of money. So as things take a regressive turn for the worst, it's not inconceivable that period tracker apps could be leveraged to figure out who's seeking out abortions and use as evidence against you.
Nothing like using state-of-the-art technology to fight medieval policy.
Exactly. You need to be extremely careful with what you're sharing, data you're sharing with these apps, and also support abortion rights, please, for God's sake.
Dude, like, that is the... Okay.
So yeah, there you have it. As a person on the internet, it's important to be very mindful of what data you're sharing with applications. A lot of the apps and services pitch themselves as little curios or fun little things that you can do to kill some time or to share with your friends on Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be, or like a fun little, or a convenient thing that helps you track your periods or something like that. Or even there's probably workflow stuff or like life manager stuff that is gathering data. But there's a real risk to the data that you're feeding them will be taken and used elsewhere and used for other purposes. So just be a little more buttoned up and really think if you need to share access to this data, to this application or service before you start doing it, because who knows where it's going. Assume that anything that you put into an app or on the internet, someone is going to see it and do something with it.
I mean, we are telling people they have to do a lot, and the way they avoid all of this is to just like move to an island somewhere and don't go online.
Log off.
Like, that is the thing we are preaching. We don't come out and say that, but the thing we are saying is just don't. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an internet literacy show. Was also an anti-internet advocacy show.
We would have a difficult time arguing that we are not anti-internet.
Oh yeah, and we come from a perspective where we are also on the internet a lot, so you can trust us when we say
take it from us.
Take it from us, people who have had our brains rotted by the internet. That you should listen to what we're trying to tell you. And at least temper your use of the internet, if not, stamp down on it almost entirely.
Second guess, question everything.
Question everything. Exactly.
Okay, well, that
And
really
there you have it.
the backloaded information in that one was more that whole Handmaid's Tale section of the show.
I
really,
was originally like I had that up top, and or like
Swapped
I alluded.
around.
Maybe-
Well, I didn't want people to be like, "Oh, this is an abortion thing."
and
I'm
just
out.
bail, right? Yeah. Front loading,
I want. If you stuck through it, bam, you got hit with the
Ooh,
abortion ban.
right on the way
There
out.
you go.
Mm,
On the
my
way
gosh.
out. That's just us telling you to please support abortion rights. You know, contact your local legislators. There's people out here who desperately need.
People out here who live here and can't vote.
Who can't vote, who need you to be, to speak on their behalf. And the overturning of Roe v. Wade doesn't eliminate abortions; it just eliminates safe abortions, and that's fucking like. If you really think this is the greatest country in the world, prove it. That's what I'm saying, because it doesn't seem like land of the brave, home of the free, or whatever the fuck you gotta say right now. And that does it for another episode of the Very Online Show.
God, Jeff, I just looked at Zoom and Jeff and I are fucking defeated.
I looked at Jeff's face and he's like,
You really did a number on us today, Tam.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what I do. I'm here to educate and depress.
What a finishing move. What an absolute banger of a finishing move.
Just an absolute KO.
Yeah, it's fine. Jess is going to put some clips of Jeff talking about vag after this. And
Yeah.
it'll be fine.
Let's bookend this with a little bit of vag. I guess. Get a nice, please do something.
Juicy vag clip at the
Yeah,
end.
come on. By all means. Wow. Well, thanks, my friends. I
you're very
guess.
Jeff, where can people find you?
At least for the rest of the day, at Jeff Bacalar, everywhere.
Lucy?
You can find me inside, well, first of all, out of focus, because this goddamn camera, but also inside this big blanket that Tam bought me.
Oh, cool.
Looks very comfy.
It is amazing. But no, I'm Lucy James Games everywhere, being depressed and drinking.
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 Hey, I'm drinking. Drinking.
And I'm at More H everywhere. Not drinking.
Haram.
Haram. Absolutely haram.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next week.
2
No,
weeks.
it's not next week, is it? It's 2 weeks. Why are we
I actually have a more cheery idea for an episode, so don't worry about it.
Oh,
It's fine. Lucy will bring it up, and then let me tell you, I'm going to fucking tank this
You
shit
need-
again.
you need to force a balance.
The balance. Perfectly balanced is all things should be.
I'm going to drive this shit into Depresso Town
Ugh.
again.
Oh, I referred to something as depression mode the other day, and that's the
Oh,
other thing
that's
I'll
pretty
refer to.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
There's
like
a
that.
podcast that I told you about called Depression Mode.
Oh
That's
shit! It
probably where
is.
you got it
That's
from.
where it came
Yeah.
from. Well, that's
Oh.
what we'll call it now. Depression mode.
All right. Bye.
Undeniable. What I'm looking at is vag.